Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is Haneen Khatib from the Youth Committee, and today is, the second day of Muslim Women in Sports Summit, and really looking forward to our upcoming session, which is going to be business and leadership. I'm going to be your moderator for the whole session, and before welcoming our special guest, um, I'll be just quoting a really nice and inspiring quotation. I got it from her, which is make a noise, ask for what you want, to be the voice of the voices. Remember, nobody give you your rights. You have to stand up and take them. Khalida Popal, welcome, and thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to have you and to get you in the business and leadership team. Really looking forward to this session, and it's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to join this program and also share some of my stories and experience.
So Khalida, we all know that you're a legend, a true legend, a former football player, someone who took the lead in the Afghanistan national team, someone who did not just start with the football as a game, but continue and building your own journey and easiest the way for the new generation for it. I'll start just with a general check on you. We just recovering from COVID pandemic, and we all know that it's been a hard time for all of us in the different countries and different time zones. But Khalida, tell me, how was your the pandemic? How did Khalida dealt with the pandemic in general?
There is no doubt that pandemic had a huge impact on life of so many people, like social, economic, and also the health of people, as well as mine. I mean, being in a sports industry or event industry, you are always like social, like you are surrounded by people, like having events and activities with people, and all of a sudden, you're told to not be close to people, stay away, keep the distance, have your own bubble. It was very difficult, very challenging. It was a way to adapt to a new lifestyle. But I think for women like me and so many women of color living in European country, it's somehow there are certain things that's like part of our daily life because of living with women of color or women of different religion, women being from Middle East. In a European country, you're kind of there is always a distance, or there is always a gap. There is always a pressure from the society where you live. So we were a bit. I think we were also a bit ready for that because it was part of our life. As part of the challenges, but the positive side was that it helped me to focus more and also work a lot on my own organization, Girl Power, that is based in Denmark and uses the power of sport and informal education to empower women and girls, especially women and girls from minority backgrounds who live in Europe and also some of the Middle East countries. That helped us a lot to focus and find new ways of supporting the women who are isolated in the refugee centers, who are isolated and who have even more isolated, because like living as a refugee, you're isolated, and living in a refugee center as a woman, you're even more isolated. But how to kind of come in an innovative way of like with innovative ideas to implement sports activities without like being in a big group, without being close to each other. That was very supportive. I think that way.
Yeah, when we speak about girls' power, I've got so many questions for you, Khalida. But as you said, like you moved and you did not change, you did not live in one place. You considered coming up from a war zone background. Like moving on, going on, we all agree that Khalida has made change. Khalida has really made history in a national and international aspect. But Khalida, what do you think the leadership skills that help you to come the Khalida that we're seeing now?
I think what helped me most was that thinking about others than myself, thinking about how I can make an impact, how I can make a change in people's life. That at the end of the day, I feel happy and satisfied. Um, and the most important thing for me is always that what is it that I feel so happy about it, and how I can actually give that happiness and share that happiness to others. I love being around people. I love supporting people. I love sharing uh, and taking care of people, and that's simple. That's simple. Being human, and no matter what culture, what religion, what country you're from, if you have good heart for people to support if they need, and where they are in need, that's uh, that's all about being. I don't call it like being a leader or being someone to help some others.
It's definitely being a role model for all of us. So, Khalida, speaking about Girls Power, which is an organization that was funded by you, and I do believe it's a turning point was in your life, and Girls Power that focus on refugees and immigrants. Tell us more about it.
Um, Girl Power is a non-profit organization which is based in Denmark. It has a headquarter in Denmark, and we do have activities which is in Denmark, but also some European countries, and now we also do some activities in Pakistan and Afghanistan as well, and also some other countries in Asia. It is started all with my experience living in a refugee center, not in one, but in so many refugee centers. When I left my country, I first went to Norway, and I lived in different refugee centers in Norway, and then I came to Denmark, and then I lived in the refugee centers. What was very shocking for me was the situation of women in refugee centers. Being a refugee itself, it's very tough. It is very it's a tough situation. It's very much mental. It affects a lot mental health. With where you don't know about your future, you don't know about your situation. You are like no one, and with no identity, and you're just waiting, that waiting period of like unknown future, and that affects a lot the mental health and also the physical. And so many women were suffering from the depression and the stress in the refugee centers. um, I was sad too. I was depressed too. I had depression, which was very difficult in the beginning for me to talk about it. But that also affected me a lot when I left my country, and being totally by myself, and in a new culture, a new country. Um, and then I saw women that they were even more suffering more from the depression, and some even we had some experiences of women trying to suicide, and crying all the time. I was like, I started thinking about, okay, how I can help myself and also at the same time others in the refugee centers where I am. I started using the power of a sport again and in my country to support women to train and get outside of that situation, mental pressure, get out of that room, get out of that darkness, and think about something else. then their asylum case, and the waiting time, the unknown future, and also there are so many people lost their beloved ones, and so many people lost their kids, and all these things. It is horrible. It's very difficult, but that's how I started. When I started, it helped me. Also, it helped the women there. We started having a group of women where we were dancing together, we were playing football together, we were biking together, we were swimming together. That's how the idea of girl power came. When I got the mission, I said, I know them, I know the pain, I know and I have the experience of living in the refugee center, how I can best support those women. And that's why I started the Girl Power organization with the idea of using the sport and informal education, like workshops, empowering workshops, leadership workshops, awareness raising workshops, where it's about the mental health, it's about safeguarding, it's about the right of women, it's about team building, it's about being united. So these type of workshops we do together with that come alongside with the sports activity.
That's really inspiring. Like when you're speaking, I've got so many questions going around. Like how many women have you started with? How easy was it? We all know that moving to another country, you need to adapt to everything, language, culture, everything. But maybe like Khalida, speaking about the organization, it's not an easy. Let's agree, it's not an easy to leave anything. So tell us about, and maybe just mentioning the present time. How's it going with leading a team, creating program, organizing activities and events? It's not an easy thing at all, and it needs lots of effort and time. How are you managing all this, Khalida? Like let's say I want to learn from you. Tell us about your leadership skills and organizing skills.
I think it's first of all, it's not easy. It's a lot of challenges. Sometimes you see like a couple of people playing football or doing some sport, but behind that, it needs a lot of coordination, a lot of like work, a lot of communication. Um, for me, it's team is most important. Important thing in all this. If you want to have a successful programs, you need to have a good team. You need to have a team that you trust. Um, they support you, you support them. So for me, Gold Power Team is the main thing in all the activities where it takes place. So we when we organize activities, because we are a non-profit organization, our challenge, one of the challenges that we face is the, of course, finances. Um, because we are very much dependent on funding, public funding and private funding. The other thing is like, especially in Denmark, because refugee like itself, the name is very political. So most of the companies or the organizations that they have their CSR strategy or projects, where the main objective of that is to support and empower. We always face this challenge, but because of the refugees are very political subject, very political uh, topic in their country. So people don't want to engage. The companies don't want to engage. Some of the clubs don't want to engage. So in Denmark, you need to, if a company want to support in an event or an organization that is supporting refugees or immigrants or women of ethnic minorities, they have to be very strong. They have to be very bold, and they have to be very different to to support, because most of the time they are just playing very safe to support. So that's our main challenge in Denmark and also some European countries. Um, but um, but coming back to the question, um, it is a lot around the team work, coordination around the team when you want to implement an event or program. Um, it's about the trust. It's about the passion. I have. I don't get tired. I do get tired sometimes in my brain, but it's the tiredness is not coming from the frustration. Um, because I have so much passion and it's very important. It means for me. So I love it. I love working till like 1 o'clock in the evenings or sometimes early in the mornings, or I just continue working. It's because it comes from the passion, from the love, and also the mission that what I'm working with or what I'm working on it can help someone else. Um, and that helps me to be motivated.
So, Khalida, speaking about your work style and the organization, we all know that the organization is based in Denmark. But going back to 2019, you mentioned that you have an online course for the youth leadership in Afghanistan, even though the virtual life still was not as something familiar for us before COVID time. But it's really important that you highlighted that is maybe your organization is not based on your country, but you still are giving back and you're still making, you did not forget about all the Afghanistan that you left behind in the country. And you're still doing some lots of work to empower and encourage them to build. So tell us about this youth leadership workshop that you've done in previous, and do you still do it till now?
Um, since I left my country, Afghanistan, from 2011, that I left Afghanistan, I have been involved in supporting both men and women um, in the country, especially the football industry in Afghanistan, a lot, both financially or through education or through programs, through connections, through mentoring. Um, Before it was a lot within the structure of s- football, structured football. But from 2019, we started working with grassroots initiatives, grassroots organization that supports the women who plays football and sports. We have two programs. In 2019 and 20, we had two events in Afghanistan that were financially and logistically and also through education was supported. And that was in rural areas of Afghanistan because my our objective going to Afghanistan and some other countries in South Asia is to provide opportunities to rural areas or the areas of the country where women have no access or nearly no facilities to have access in sports. So because a lot of attention in the capital, and that's why like when it comes to rural areas, they don't get support. Where I come in, and then I want to support because through my organization and also my network, I provide support. Um, that's through the events, and also um, we had two big events in two cities in 2020 in 2019, and then we provided also mentoring workshops, online workshop. Um, the best thing is that technology helped us a lot. So you don't need to be in a country. Like today, we are both of us in different countries, and we are having this conversation. You can still make an impact. You can still support. So that's why I'm also using the power of digital, um, also media to support the women and girls in my country. Um,
No
it,
limitations,
it's like
yeah?
beautiful to support. If I have something I want to also share to give back.
That's really amazing, Khalida. Like speaking about the impact, we all know that the Afghanistan national women's national team has started in 2017, right? Not 2006, six or seven. Seven, yeah. And we all know that it was not an easy start, even like let's say in all Middle Eastern countries, and maybe like Muslims women, we all know that hijab ban that we had, we all got into struggles and challenges in our path. But since 2007 till now, 2021, what has changed, Khalida, for the national team? We all know that you're the activity or program director of the national team. What has changed, and how's it, your role going being in a different country?
Um, when we started playing football, when the first national team of Afghanistan was established, we were just a team of like 15 to 20 women. We were playing football, and we were dedicated to trainings and like in the program itself. It was right after uh, the occupation of Taliban. In our country where on that period women and girls were not allowed to go to even school. Um, but when in 2007, when we started playing for the national team of our country, people were not. Uh, they didn't. They were. It was not the culture. People were not accepting every individual in our team. They had their challenges, the pressure from the society, the pressure from the families. It was not familiar for people to see women playing football. It was not normal. It was Football is known as women's game in Afghanistan and also in so many other countries. Um, and 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 men were not, and or even women were not ready to accept seeing women playing football. Um, Even we were not against the culture, we were behaving as according to the culture. We are wearing the scarf, we were wearing all the proper clothing, but still we were facing a lot of challenges from both men and women. They were stopping us. Were facing harassments, insults, and sexism is always exist there in the country. Um, but we didn't give up because that was our right to stand for, and we wanted to play football. All we wanted to do was play football. But when we faced a lot of challenges, we started understanding that there is a bigger problem in our country that and that age we didn't know that until we started playing football, and then we started using football as a tool to stand for our right, but also the right of women in our country. Um, it was a tough start, but we didn't give up. As a result, so many women and girls started playing football. So many girls started in football in grassroots level, and then we started like we witnessed the national team, good national team, and then started like the youth national teams, the league. Today we have a league, women's league. We have women playing football in different cities of the country where they travel for the league. They travel from other cities to the capital to play the league. We have coaches, female coaches. We have female referees that are licensed, and then we have a women's football committee in Afghanistan Football Federation that many women are actually working not only in women's football but also in men's football. And this is the change. This is what we have what we have actually stood up and fought for it today. It's opened the doors of opportunity for so many women and girls. I'm very proud that and and feel confident to call this as one of our great achievements. I, for example, in 2009, when I was selected as a first female female board member in the football federation of the country, um, as a first female director, and as a first female employee in the football federation of Afghanistan in the history. They didn't have they never had a
Even
female,
an employee.
yeah, female employee.
Wow.
And I was the youngest. I was the youngest, and I was only female. It was scary. It was difficult. Um, it was tough. It has so much pressure. Every day I had to fight. Every day I had to stand on my toes and say, like, I'm going to work um, to change something, to change the culture, to change the mindset, to open the doors of opportunity for more women. Even going in that environment was very male dominated, where men have never experienced female colleague around them, and you being the only and the youngest woman working and sitting in an office from 8 to 4 or 5, um, where most of my colleagues in the beginning didn't want to even sit at the same table with me, didn't want to have the lunch together with me, or they were, because I was the finance officer in the football federation. They were, most of them, they were avoid or ignore to take the salary from a hand of a woman because it was insulting for them. It was against their honor. But today, the result today, we have so many women who is in leadership, who are positions in football federation, who is working in not only with women, but also men's football, who have got education. So I know most of the time it's tough for so many women. Um, but if we all give up, the change will never happen, and we will never witness change. Because nobody, if we don't change it, nobody will else come and change for us. So we have to stand for it, and that's what so many women, amazing women like yourself, and so many other women like Shireen, so many amazing women who has been fighting and working so hard, no matter how much it has a pressure, but it's just because we want to change it.
Khalida, listening to you, it just make me feel like you have the responsibility not only to present yourself and to show people that you're capable and you're good at this, but you also will open the path or like open the road for all other girls to be leading in such roles. And let's say in the association or in any place, in any governmental or any place. But what made you go through this, and what made you like? I would say like if anyone is like when other girls like younger girls are listening, they say like I wouldn't handle this and I couldn't handle this and just I leave the work and I quit and that's it. But what really made you like we all know that you have a strong message doing it, but speaking and reflecting that to leadership, what skills you needed the most that time?
Um, what I needed the most, foremost, first of all, I needed the support from my family. Sometimes, sometimes you don't get that,
True.
and that means like it's like if you don't get it, then give up. No, sometimes you don't get it, the support, because what is like what your family is doing is that we all have to understand that's the love. Because of the love, they want to protect you because they don't hate you, but your parents want to protect you because they know the danger, they know that how tough it is, and because the love comes, the protection comes itself. They want to save you, they want to support you, they don't want you to go in this battle because they are older than you, they understand, they have the experience. So what you need to do is like in first step is to sit and like without being so mad, without fighting back and forth, just sit and talk and argue and come with good arguments, with a good case, and think how I can win the case. Give good reasons. That's how it started. Leadership and like the activism starts from you within your home. You sit with your father, you sit with your mom, you sit and talk with them, and you said, "This is my reasons. This is my arguments." Uh, without being in temper, or like I want to change, and like want to fight, and I hate everybody. Everybody hates me. It doesn't work like that, because we cannot change it, and we make even tougher for ourselves. Then it comes to, okay, once like you argue and your argument is strong, then itself is like, understand before jumping into fight, understand what I'm going to, and if I'm ready, to, I understand all the struggles. I know that it will be very tough. Am I ready to take that step? And once you have this conversation with yourself, then it's easier for you to say, I have chosen this, I am going to it, and I know what I'm actually stepping into. And then the other thing is like, once you enter in this type of situation, it's all about the communication. It's all about working hard, and also sitting with people in a state of like getting into fire, talk, talk and show the result of your work. Show the result of your work, and once you trust your skills, once you trust the mission, what you're standing for, and once you're dedicated to your mission, it will drive you to where you want. And people start believing in you. If you believe in yourself, if you 100% sure what I'm actually doing is I'm standing for, I trust myself, I trust my skills. No matter what, I will do it, and I will on my way, on my journey, I will get the support of the people that I trust. And that's the very easy philosophy behind that.
Really inspiring, Khaled. If I just to summarize and to go through all the lessons I've just said for you, like you have to have trust in yourself, in your circle, like support system or support family, confident, plan ahead, communication, and the list can goes on all the way. I think we can go like for hours in this happening there, but it's really like summarizing your journey and like your path, and it's, I would say it again, it's not easy changing the country, changing your circle, changing everything around you. Like, and we all know that leadership is also a journey, coming with lots of ups and lots of downs. Khalida, what are you, how do you see your upcoming future? We know that you've done a lot, and we all know that you won't get bored, you won't get tired, you won't get anything. What's next in Khalida's leadership journey?
For me, the next steps are that, um, working a lot with Girl Power organization to make it a strong organization that supports and unites women from all culture backgrounds, from all countries, to to build a network of women that supports each other, um, women that believe and support and empower each other, and have a kind of a network where when our younger sisters or older sisters need help, we just click on and get support. Um, because we are missing a team of women, like-minded women that are there to support each other. Unfortunately, the male-dominated cultures, the male-dominated structures have put so much pressure on women that if a woman like me stand and want to support and like want to question things, it's easily they put a sign on me as like a feminist, an extreme feminist, and or like as extreme religious. All these stumps, they shouldn't be like that. I don't need to belong in a one of the boxes so in order to do something. I think being one person, being like individuals, of course we can make an impact, we can make changes, but once all the women come together, that's the more impact, the more changes you can witness. And I'm happy, so happy that the women in sport, um, and so many other organizations together are working a lot. There are so many amazing women like yourself and so many other that are really working hard to support and empower. Um, we need more role models. We need women to believe in women. We need young girls to see, to look up at other women and get inspired. We need an ecosystem amongst women that not fight against each other, because the male-dominated culture and society put us in this situation that the opportunities are so limited still in 2021, that women, instead of supporting each other, because there is one opportunity, one job position, or what that puts women against each other, and they compete, they fight with each other, they are trying to break each other down, and that's how we can never have an equal world. Um, um, so it's all about how we learn from each other and support each other, and keep the doors open for our sisters, for other younger girls, so they can continue the journey, follow.
Just to emphasize on everything you said, like this is one of the main goals of the Muslim women in sports, like building a network, supporting each other and building opportunities for each other. This is really inspiring. Khalida, I'm sure that the people, the girls especially that who's listening to you now are wants to jump and wants to support. Tell us more about how we can follow your organization activities, how they can learn more, how they can plan ahead. Like we don't want just to listen, as you said, we just like to act. How's it going from Khalida? What?
We have social media channels. We have our website, girlpower.org.com. We have our social media channel that they can follow and write us, and then we can be in contact. That's thanks to digital, our digital world of digital, or well, I don't know what's called internet, where people can easily get access to each other and find each other very quick. And they can also find me through my own personal account, social media accounts. I'm everywhere.
You're really good at writing quotes and putting some quotes. I really like that. Found it really inspiring. That's really great. Dedicating your effort and time for people, helping and supporting them. Khalida, I would let this conversation goes, I think, for a whole day. But just like to maybe we as we come to the end, International Refugees Days will be remarked in a few days. Um, as your last message, what do you think leadership skills that most needed for these refugees? We all know that refugees, they're not related to a country, to religion, to an age group. It's a global thing. It's happening everywhere. What's your message for refugees and what leadership skills do you think the most needed?
I think my message for the world, and for everybody who listens to this, is that we the pandemic was a lesson to everybody. The pandemic affected life of so many people. Um, so many people lost their loved ones. They were isolated. Their freedom was taken. Each individual were struggling, and there was a pressure, isolation, loneliness, and the feeling of not being yourself. And this is what I want to tell, that this is what everyday's life of refugee. They miss their loved ones, they miss their countries, they miss their freedom, they are lacking opportunities, they are having a lot of pressure, mental pressure, they are isolated. um they didn't leave their countries, their families, or they didn't lose all these loved ones just to go to a safe country, or take their money, or enjoy the life. For example, if they come to Europe, enjoy the paradise. The paradise is where you feel happy, you feel like belong to. um and the people who leave their countries as a refugee because it's the only option they have. And today myself, I'm working in a football club in Denmark. I'm paying tax. I'm working a lot. I am. I'm working in different organizations. I'm doing everything possible as a refugee that maybe if we compare with a person from this country, I'm doing the double work of that person to give back to this country, give back to this community. I left my country not because I wanted to live in a paradise, but I left my country because I had no other option. So I really hope people learn from pandemic, and and now they are more genuine, understand the situation of what the refugees are going through, understand and accept and respect and support each other. And I really, my message for the refugees are that no matter how tough the situation is, never give up. Keep keep pushing yourself. Keep keep doing what is best for you. At the same time, be a role model. Be a role model. Show the people that you're not here to take the money from the society or from the tax from the people, but you're here because you had no other option.
Well, like hopefully one day we will be celebrating the freedom of everyone and the good quality of life. Khalida, I'm really happy to have such a conversation with you. I'm pretty sure that everyone got inspired by your words. I really hope that you stay safe, you, your family. As we started the conversation at the interview with the COVID, we end up with COVID, and no one knows how long COVID will stay. But as you said, your mental health, your physical health should be your most priority or your top priority. I would like to thank you on behalf of Muslim Women in Sports team. You've always been a big supporter to this network, and hopefully one day maybe we can meet in person, and hopefully we keep inspiring and supporting each other. Thank you so much, and I leave the final words with you.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate Muslim women in sport, and I love all the amazing women who is part of the group and part of this team. That they have always been there to support me. They have supported me a lot. They have encouraged me a lot. I had always I had their back. um, and it's really good and that to have this feeling of I have sisters in other countries, and no matter if I have seen them or not, but the feeling of I have a sister there, I can write them and they write me if they see there's something. Um, I love this sisterhood. I love this team and the network, and I'm hopefully in the future we meet each other in person. Um, it is a great network that can inspire other bigger groups to follow and see and get inspired from this group of women that support each other and empowers each other.
Inshallah. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much,
Thank you
Khalida,
so
and
much for your time. Thank
thank
you.
you. Stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye.